Disclaimer. This podcast features a conversation between two individuals regarding assistive technology. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this episode belong solely to the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of their respective employers. Furthermore, this discussion is for informational purposes only.
Hi, and welcome to today's Assistive Technology Today Podcast. I'm your host, Vinny L. I'm a technology specialist and AT consultant for enabling devices. I have been so for the last 24 years. And today we have our special guest for episode 2 is Rich Cicero. He's the IT director for United Cerebral Palsy of Westchester. So without further ado, welcome, Rich, to the podcast, and let's learn a little bit about you and what you do.
Thanks, Vin. I'm the IT director for Cerebral Palsy of Westchester. I've been there 11 years now, but I've been in IT a lot longer. I've also worked for enabling devices part-time, assembling assistive technology devices, modifying their modified toys, their modified devices to help people with disabilities. I've worked in manufacturing, plastic injection, plastic molding, which actually built many of the components for parts for devices that assist people. I do participate in a lot of technology conferences. I'm always going to those. I'm always helping people at work with their assistive technology as well, especially the Tobii devices, the eye gaze devices. Anything that's Windows-based, I'm helping them out. Anything that's internet-based, I'm helping them out. So much software is involved. AI, which we're going to be the key point to this podcast, I'm always helping them too, and as well as trying to maintain security using AI.
All right. Thanks, Rich, for giving us that brief info. And Rich and I have known each other, to be honest, since high school. We were friends since high school, and we've always stayed in contact. And it's funny that our paths would cross again on the work front. We, like as Rich mentioned, we worked at enabling devices together, and Rich used to work for a plastic injector. They used to manufacture some parts for us, and then now our paths have still kept in line as we work together with United Cerebral Palsy of Westchester and enabling devices. So I wanted to definitely have Rich on as one of my first guests because I felt he could bring a unique perspective, not only from on a manufacturer's side to also supporting all the technology that the speech pathologists and OTs and PTs would use in their day-to-day grind, trying to serve the population and give them, the best assistive technology, available to help these people have good quality of life and independence. So, we talked about the buzzword that everybody's talking about now, and it is a big factor in this industry is AI. AI has really been, you really can't go anywhere today and not hear about AI at some level, whether it's AI generated videos or just all kinds of crazy stuff. And it has its place in this industry. And I think it can be a big help, just as when the iPad first came out, it was a big help. It started out slow and steady, and I had touched on one of my earlier podcasts that, it was slow and steady and it was gradual. There was nothing earth shattering of the advancements. They were, every year there was more and more better things. But with AI, I think in the last 2 years, the jump has been exponentially much faster. I'd say probably tenfold. So, just some things with Rich being the IT specialist and, deploying this technology. So we wanted to talk about some different things. And, we have some notes here. We're going to follow in and basically just share this information. The first topic, Rich, we were talking about is enhanced communication for individuals with speech or language impairment through speech text or speech generated text and predictive language tools. So maybe you could touch a little bit on that.
Yeah. Well, let's start off. How did people before AI? How did they communicate? Right.
Right.
Sign language. Right. Writing on a piece of paper. Things of that nature.
Eye gaze boards, manual eye gaze boards.
Eye gaze boards. But even that technology now has become.
No, I'm talking about even just static eye gaze boards with just a plexiglass that we make,
exactly.
plexiglass cut out with just pictures or words that they would just eye gaze at. I mean, really the most rudimentary means of communication.
Exactly. So now, just think where we come with sign language. I can now speak to somebody directly and have an avatar, a computer-generated AI avatar, sign. That's how and fast it's instantly creating the sign language for somebody who's hearing impaired. If you're trying to communicate with the eye gaze, right? Say you want to use your eye gaze. If you want to use your predictive language, it knows you. It's going to learn you. It's going to learn it's the morning. So if you say, I'm hungry, it's not going to give you, I want pizza and spaghetti. It's going to learn, hey, it's the morning. I should predict the text. I want eggs. I want bacon. I want a breakfast sandwich. And as time rolls around, it's going to say, oh, lunchtime. It's not going to say eggs and bacon again. It's going to say, I want pizza. Or say you have to use the restroom. And it's going to say, I need to. But then it's learning your habits, and it knows after you use the restroom, 2 minutes later, you say, I need to. It's not going to say, I need to use the restroom again. It's going to say, I need to put down on the text, I need to call my doctor. I need to call my mother. So it's going to learn. It's going to learn your predictive. It's going to learn your predictive text that you're going to use. It's going to learn all about you. With the eye gaze, go ahead.
No, it's amazing. I mean, this, stuff 5 years ago, you wouldn't even think it would be possible, but it would be like almost not accessible to the mass majority who needed it. It would be some specialized, something that costs, maybe $50,000 or something that you couldn't even get.
And it has to do with your network connection speed, because remember, all this isn't happening on your local machine. It's going out to the internet, instantly transcribing all these predictive words and coming back to your device, be it your phone, your Toby device, your tablet, whatever you're using. It's using the power of the speed of the internet and the power of those servers,
right,
to use the AI for that. And then don't forget, remember, storyboards, you're limited to how many squares you can put on the board, right? Because a lot of these, they'll use the board. And if they use their eyes, I remember one guy at work had to put a dot on his nose with a camera to point. And you have your dwell time, which how long it's going to stay. Now you have people who just, if they can't move their head, they can just use their eyes and instantly start talking to people.
Yeah,
with everything. So, I mean, when I saw ASL and I saw avatars and how fast it worked, I mean, you can stand up in front of an audience and have an avatar right there immediately signing. You could basically take it with you. I mean, so
that's amazing. Because if you know sign language, that's great. But if you don't, at least you can sign to someone, and
right.
That would be.
I mean, I used to type it on your text phone, show somebody and then that's the way we would used to communicate. I mean, they would have, they also have things where you could sit on one end and the other person can type back and forth. But now it's the speed. It's not necessarily, it's the technology and the speed at how fast it creates that avatar.
Right. Well, with all that said, Rich, I wanted to touch on one thing was always a concern for me with all this technology. This is all great and it's, amazing, and it's life-changing for somebody. But being on your end, you're the guy who deploys this technology in in a commercial environment with your therapist, my concern, and I'm sure it's always been a concern of yours, is like HIPAA compliancy and security. Like, like you said, none of this stuff is really, for the most part, isn't happening on your local computer. It's going out to the web or the cloud somewhere. So obviously, because this is not for personal use, you're using this in a business. You have compliances that you must follow to keep these people's information safeguarded, and because some of these are like a medical type device, so they have laws and regulations that follow suit with that.
Big time, big time. Currently, I'm not subscribing to any HIPAA compliant AI services. And because of that, we're giving our people, the staff, please do not put anyone's personal information up there. Don't put their photo, their address, or say you have a list of people and you want ChatGPT to organize your spreadsheet. You can't do that right now. You can if you paid for the services. Many of these services are HIPAA compliant, but you have to commercially pay for them. But we're not using it right now for that.
Right.
So
it's available. That's what you're saying.
It's available. HIPAA compliancy is available. It's just a paid service, like JotForm. JotForm, we use JotForm. I know it's a little off topic, but JotForm, we fill out our who you're coming to visit. That's HIPAA compliant because we're paying for that HIPAA compliance service.
Right.
Because it goes to the cloud. It's
most of these
service.
Obviously, these big companies then are taking this stuff very seriously and offering these services for the people that need it.
Right. And let's go back to text-to-speech. It's still not perfect, right? We talk, we say a word, it might misspell a word, right? Just get back to setting up this podcast. How I called you Babe and I called you Ben when I went to say, hey, Vin. So it's still not perfect.
Right.
But let's look at Google Translate. How good is so you want to see a sign, you don't know what it says in another language, right? You hold up your phone. Not only now, it's so much better. It's not just translating word for word. It's translating the grammar and what the sign actually says and wants to communicate, not just a word for word translation.
Right. I've seen, even just touching on that, like somebody who goes into a restaurant, and not all businesses are special needs or handicap. I don't want to use the word handicap, but they're not accessible 100%. They may have a ramp for a wheelchair, but okay, I'm coming there and I want to look at the menu. I don't want you to read the menu for me if I'm visually impaired. They don't have a Braille menu if I can read Braille. But if you have a smartphone, you can hold it in front of the menu and it will turn that text into something on their phone, either read it out loud or be able to allow them to relay that information to them.
Right. And now let's get into visual impairment. Glasses, right? The AI glasses, what they're trying to do now. But now you go back to security, facial recognition. You can't see, so who am I walking up to? Hey, Vinny's in front of me. Jane is in front of me. Joe is in front of me. So you know who's there. But now your photo is up in the cloud. So you have to make sure that whenever you're using this, that your photo and your name is kept secure. Mm-hmm. But walking, I mean, they're going to have, right, they have full self-driving on Teslas. They're going to have full self-driving with the glasses for people that could potentially, if not now, but eliminate like a use of a cane, a walking cane or a walking stick. Right. Because it's going to be able to tell you there's a pole in front of you. Watch the curb. Watch the lady walking the dog. There's 15 people in front of you. Bear to the left. There's a ladder. Watch out. So you're going to be able to walk just by wearing the glasses and listening in on things. How about money? Let's go back to how do you handle money?
Right.
You're at that restaurant. I'm going to go pay. Yeah, I can use a credit card, but if you want to use money, American money there's no Braille on it. There's no textures on it. that you can feel, like tactile feeling for what bill it is. They're all the same size.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Many countries, though, have different size bills. Like the euro, I know the real, the Brazilian real, Japan, they have tactile feelings, different size bills, so that you can tell what it is. So what did people have to do? They'd have to fold their money in certain ways. So like I know a folded $20 bill is my bill folded in half, right? Long ways, it's a $10 bill. Or I'll make corner folds on $1 bills. So you know what your money is, or put it in a braille case, or the braille section of your wallet. Then they came out with the reader, right? You just scan the reader over the bill and it will tell you what it is.
Tell you what it is.
Right now you can just, if you have the glasses, you just hold up the bill. This is a $20 bill. This is a $10 bill. Someone wants to try to shortchange you and say, oh, I gave you a 5 when they gave you a 1. Oh, you have a $1 bill in your hand, and they have to make sure that your change is correct.
Right.
Going shop in the grocery store. What am I holding up in front of me? It's a can of corn. It's a can of peas. Right? So you go take your groceries home. You used to have the talking lids, right? You could put a device on your can with a big pen reader, right? Picks up, program the reader. So when you go up to it, all right, this is corn. This is a can of peas. Now you just look at it with your glasses. This is corn. This is peas. Doesn't even matter where it is on your shelf. Mm-hmm. You don't have to organize your shelves knowing I have, my corn in this section. Over here is my spaghetti. Over here is my angel hair spaghetti. It knows you can use your glasses. It's incredible. And it's instant again, as long as you have that high-speed connection
right
to the internet.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing what's available to us. And, for us, it's cool tech, but we could get by without it. Whereas somebody who's visually impaired, maybe this is, a game changer for them. Give them some independence. Maybe they can live independently where before they needed an aid, or somebody 24/7 where they may only need somebody, for a certain amount of time. So the other thing too, with these glasses, like the meta glasses and stuff, it's also good for somebody who's starting to get maybe early onset dementia or Alzheimer's. They might forget who that person is. They need a prompt and say,
mm-hmm.
Hey, that's Rich, or that's Vinny. And then they may just need that subtle nudge, to help them remember. So there are a lot of facets where this technology could be, useful, and basically, again, give people back some of their independence and, some dignity too, as
you touch that on that point with AI and scheduling your day. Don't forget to take your medicine.
Right.
Don't forget to check in with your daughter. Your daughter wants you to call them to check in. Don't forget to turn off the coffee pot. So AI can, you could schedule all this stuff, and you could say, hey, set a reminder for me to, before I walk out the door, please check all the lights, make sure the heat's off, or the stove is off, the coffee pot is off. And it's just incredible what it's doing. You didn't have that back in the day. You'd have people checking on you 24/7. You'd have to have a live-in assistant.
Right. So yeah, no, it definitely. I mean, there's so much stuff even too. They have smart fridges now, which basically could tell you what's in your refrigerator, which mm-hmm. is, it's just even just when people order groceries, like they can't go out and shop because they can't drive. They're visually impaired, or they have other physical disabilities. They can go on a computer. Even now with eye gaze, they can go and do their grocery shopping and have somebody come and deliver it.
Right. Or they could just say, add this to the list.
Right. Just update the list for them.
Go to or just online shopping. Right. Add this to the list. Add this to the list. Gets added to the list. Okay, please place my order. And next thing you know, the groceries get delivered, and you put your glasses on, and make sure everything is in the bag. It's wild stuff. It just is. Far from when I first started 10 years ago. Everything was mechanical and electric. Now everything is AI. Everything is, the computer thinking. So, how about wheelchairs itself? Right? You just said people are in a wheelchair. How did they get around before even motorized wheelchairs? Someone would have to push them. Or if they can move their arms and they can get themselves by, hey, fantastic. Someone would have to push them. Then they had the electric wheelchair, right? They can, as long as they had use, or they can move their hand or their wrist. They can control their wheelchair. They can lift it up and down. Now, the next step was, I saw somebody used to control the wheelchair with their movement of just their head. But that was a mechanical switch. You'd hit left, you'd hit right, you'd hit back, forward. Now, I see people with their eyes controlling their wheelchair. It's an overlay on their device, their tablet or their computer on their screen. They just look, move forward, move back. They don't have to touch anything. Now, does it have problems? Yeah, I've seen problems with it. Again, it's all wired up. Someone hits a wire, moves something gets pulled. Okay, what wire came loose? Someone pulls out a USB-C cord by accident. I've seen that. I see advertisements. It doesn't, you can go out in the daylight, but I've seen people get stuck in the light underneath like a big skylight because the light's hitting that eye gaze, and it's not reacting to they think something is there. The eye gaze thinks that there's too much light, or they're not able to control the chair. So yes, it's still issues with it, but when they're indoors, fantastic.
Right. Yeah, no, you're still going to run into some speed bumps, so to speak.
Right. But say you couldn't see and you have glasses, you're looking around, well, you're not looking around, but you're using the glasses to look around and you're listening. You're next to the restroom. You're next to classroom 1. You're next to classroom 2.
Right.
You're next to, Sam's office. So you know where you are in the building. It's all mapped out, or your glasses just know where you are.
Talking about I'm not going to really touch on this, but just I wanted to mention it, with the mobility, with the wheelchairs, there's a guy that I've been following. I'm going to hopefully have him on the podcast in some an upcoming episode. Nick Wilson, he's noted as the disabled adventurer. He is a podcaster. He does videos. He can move around. He's got a severe spinal cord injury, but I believe he was in Scotland. He has a company developed this all-terrain wheelchair for him, so he could climb like the highest mountain in, I think it was Scotland. Don't correct me on that. I just would say don't quote me on that. And I was just watching a video that he was posting last night. He was going up this terrain with this all-terrain vehicle, and it was crazy. But it had problems too. It broke down on his ascent, and they had problems with the suspension, and they had to abort the climb. And he was kind of discouraged, but I think they wound up doing some fixes, and he went back up again. He was able to complete it, but. Like I said, technology is amazing when it works. Everything's working good. So, but this it's definitely good that we can improve people's lives and
and it's like someone, they're getting older or they're worried about their parent or their child. What are we going to do? It gives them a little more of an at ease feeling that. They're gonna be able to get through life. It's gonna be able to help them. They're gonna be able to go where they want. They're gonna be able to talk to the people that they want to talk to. They're gonna be able to hold conversations, and even AI can help people socialize. Say they're afraid to speak to somebody because they're uncomfortable speaking about, how do I interact with my friends? How do we talk about movies? AI now can put people at ease and say, well, you could on how to talk about a movie with your friends if they're concerned. Or how do I talk to my teacher about my homework? I'm having problems with my homework. And it'll get through that. They have, even though there's huge disclaimers on it, they have AI generated, I don't want to say social workers, or I don't want to, but just people that you can speak to, like AI buddies, AI friends that will help you through your problems and maybe direct you to seek real professional help, or just get you through your feelings. They have dolls and toys that talk to kids, that put them at ease, that will hold conversations through AI.
Mm-hmm.
So that itself, you never had anything like that growing up. You'd have to send the kids somewhere, or if they're having problems. Now they could somewhat feel more comfortable speaking to a robot, like a toy robot, or a more something more friendly to them.
Right.
So, yeah,
right.
Absolutely. How about something complicated as well? Say you're trying to explain someone with an intellectual disability. I put in explain, say at the 5th grade level, the Declaration of Independence, and it broke it down and it explained at that level of intellect the Declaration of Independence and what it was all about.
Right.
So it's there, and it did it quick. It does it fast, and you're not sitting there trying to ask somebody, can you do this for me? They can just hold up their phone. Hey, explain this movie to me in terms of someone who's 10 years old.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's definitely an asset or a tool for a therapist for, working with somebody that's not, on a lower cognition level, or just make their task easier. They don't have to, they don't have to try and figure this out on their own. They have this at their fingertips. When you have a big caseload as a therapist, you don't have a lot of excess time. So you want to give the most time to the user or the patient that needs it, not to, and you don't have a lot of side time to do research and things. So a lot of this stuff at your fingertip is definitely a game changer.
Right. Or the person who is the person or the patient, they'll feel more comfortable speaking to the robot or to a dog, like a robot dog or a stuffed animal or a toy, something that they feel more comfortable with, as opposed to a strange adult. Right. So you could just watch and listen and see how they interact. So I did that. I went on an AI and I pretended to have an issue, and it walked me through. It guided me through. How are you feeling? Why do you feel that way? What do you think you can do to help? And it also, it said you might want to seek this type of professional help. So it's there. It's there.
Right. Is there anything else you really wanted to touch on, Rich? Because I know I'm just looking over my notes. We kind of bounced around a little bit, but we pretty much did cover pretty much everything that we did.
If they have visual impairments, if they have hearing impairments, we've gone through that.
Yeah, we covered pretty much.
We've covered wheelchairs. We've covered people even just going through life in general, going to the stores, shopping, money, food. Let's put people at ease who are caring for loved ones with disabilities, because the technology is there that will help them. We've gone through the mobility, right? We've gone through the eye tracking. It's just so much. It is so much for one episode. You could probably break one thing down and go through a whole episode with just one.
Well, we'll definitely have you back on the podcast for another episode because there's so much to talk about. And
yeah, right. Or say in perpetuity with life, or with your voice. Say I know something's going to happen to me. I can take my voice and clone it and put that into my box, into my audio box, or whatever I'm using.
Like somebody with ALS.
Exactly. And now it's going to sound just like me no matter how bad I get or how much whatever I have progresses, that box will sound just like me.
Right. Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've seen it. I've gone through it. I've seen it all. Again, this is not my expertise, all of it, but being in IT, I'm always there. Basically, it's if there's a wire in it, they call IT to help out or to be part of it.
Right. So, just wanted to make a few notes and then, Rich, I know you're really into AI, and before we end this, where can we find you? I know you have some personal endeavors that have branched into AI, so maybe just touch on that before we go.
Thank you. Yeah, about a year ago, I started making AI music. Started off with just as more of a joke or more of a let me see if I can do this, to a full years now with over 100 songs out there on all the streaming services. I create AI music. I don't play any instruments. I dabble in the acoustic guitar a little, but AI has come fantastic. For art, for music, remember, people can do that too.
Right.
AI, I can't lift up a paintbrush, but I can sure describe what I want to use. There are people that are against it, and I fully understand it, but it can help people create music. It can help people with the arts. I have a webpage on Hyperfollow, hyperfollow.com/Chichi67. I know that's not the new 6'7" that everyone's talking about. That's actually the year I was born.
We'll put the links in
the description
show
below.
notes.
This is about assistive tech. It's not about Chichi67.
Right. So. And just to wrap that up, full disclosure, this is my personal podcast, but the company I work for, Enabling Devices, has been pretty supportive of my endeavor, and I try to basically spread the word about the company I work for the last 24 years. So something for my listeners and for the viewers, Enabling Devices is giving a one-time 10% discount code ATToday26. That'll also be in the description, the link, and the show notes below. If you decide you want to check out Enabling Devices and what we do, and you need to purchase something, to help yourself out, you're getting a 10% discount, and just helps spread the word. So with that, Rich, I think we're going to call this one another one in the books.
Yep. And I'm at CP. My organization is cpwestchester.org.
Also, again, we'll put all that information in the show notes.
Put all that information again in there.
So, Rich, thanks for being a guest on the podcast today. We touched on a lot of important information. Hopefully, this podcast episode helped some people, enlighten them on some information that they weren't aware of. And again, if you like the podcast, please like and subscribe and share it with a friend or family member that might find it interesting, or they may have somebody with special needs that they would want to follow the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks, guys, for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you.